Dear students, today we will go for one of your grammar topics, that is film review or book review. That is what you call review writing. So usually if we normally go with the reviews. So whenever a new film is released, whenever the new book is released, so people will be reviewing it, giving back to us. So we will go with the ratings given to them, and we'll go with the review given on them. So that review is a kind of advertisement. So it attracts us. So when you are reviewing a book, you must be very sincere in evaluating its strength and giving the right point of view, and also talk about its strengths and also its positive points. And if at all you observe any say thing that is really worth to see, make a mention of it. Even the criticism is also welcome. So review writing will definitely help in understanding or in estimating the value of the book or what you call a film. So there are certain norms that we need to follow while we are making a review. Review is not just either a summary or a kind of advertisement. We are not going to advertise anybody or anything, but only thing is we are giving a review of it. That means the worth of it, the positive, negative in it, and I say a third person without any biasness. We are presenting that. So that is exactly the review writing. So let me share my screen. So welcome once again to Department of English. Review writing is today's topic. We are having two things with us. One is film review and a book review. So there is a slight difference between both of them, but the function, the purpose is the same. So, what is a film review or a book review? See, a review is nothing but a short critical assessment of a book or a film. So, if you are talking about a film, that is a short critical assessment, and also about a book. So, sometimes we take a review about their product or service, which gives a quick idea about the book or conveys opinion. That means if you are writing a book review, it is nothing but a short critical assessment of it, and which gives a quick idea about that and also conveys the opinion. So this is the purpose of review of a book. Or if you are giving the critical assessment and a quick idea about a film, is what we call a film review. So or it may also happen with the products and the services that the companies or the people offer. So there is no standard formula for this. There is no set rules and standard formula for this. Only thing is keeping this in your mind, you can prepare your say review based on them. So review should follow a fact first, interpretation later. That means it should speak about the facts. So whatever good thing is there, whatever is mentioned there rightly, that only you have to speak. Facts you have to talk, and interpretation is given the least importance. So what all important facts are there that you have to mention, and interpretation will be will have a very little space, not more. So that is film review or a book review you have to keep in your mind. And reviews, what they talk about, reviews generally have these four things with you. One is the review should inform. So when you go through a review, you should have some information, and there should be some description about the contents, and there should be some analysis and also evaluation. So it is a kind of information that we are receiving from the book review, or a description what is there in the text in the book, and also a little analysis and also evaluation. So informing and describing is like narrating a story. That's not the end of it. So the very purpose of it is an assessment, a critical assessment. So the critical assessment lies in either analyzing or the evaluating it. So See, again, if you are having a very good standpoint of view, from that point of view, you can analyze and evaluate. Don't be biased. So, analyze and evaluate our opinion or judgment by reasons and evidence. Whenever you are analyzing and evaluating it about you, as per your opinion or judgment, but there should be some reason and there should be some evidence. Without evidence, without reasons, if you say that is a biased one, and it can't be accepted. So whatever you want to, whatever you have identified, whether good or bad, so it must be supported by the evidence. And whenever you are giving your own standpoint of, from your own standpoint of view, if you are viewing that view, so you have to give this a strong reason for that. Without reasons and evidences, if you are just say, giving your own opinion, is of no use. So that is really not expected in a review writing. So what are the skills that you require in say doing this activity? The skill number, the skills are, you need to have a great reading skills. So you need to understand or comprehension. That means you need to understand it well. So understand in the right way. That is very very important. So unless and until you have understood it thoroughly, you can't judge it or you can't say describe or evaluate it properly. So your understanding is very very important, and reading abilities you should have. So if you have good reading abilities only, then you can understand it very well. So that way, understanding and reading and comprehension, analysis. So many of us we are not good at analyzing the analysis. So when you are making analysis, you have to carefully see, go through it. And communication of course is very very important. You have understood, but at the same time you are giving a review of it, so your communication must be good. And you must be having this critical thinking the issue, critical thinking nature also. So unless and until you review it or value it in a critical way, your review has not that weight. So these are the skills one need to have before see for say reviewing the book. One is you have to be very thorough with the reading skill, able to comprehend, able to analyze, should have great communication skills, and should also have the critical thinking. So the reading comprehension are very important, and also again when you are analyzing, after analysis, say communicating it and having a critical thought are very essential. So this is briefly about reviewing a book or a film, whatever it is, whether it is a book or a film or a product or a service. These things we need to take care. One is, I just want to revise because these are very very important. Reviews should inform, they should describe, should also analyze and evaluate. That is review. So four important parts that it should do. And skills, what are the skills required for a reviewer is reading. You should have good reading skills, comprehension skills, analysis skills, communication skills, and thinking, critical thinking, or say pattern. So and if you are having these and going through sincerely, say following certain norms, then your film review or book review will come good. So, what is about a film review? Most of us, in informal way, we talk about the film reviews. So, we get the review from your own friends and relatives who have already seen that movie, or else through the newspapers. We will get the film review. Based on that, we see sometimes get tempted to so go to the movie, say immediately, and based on the assessments they give, so that has already given you a some kind of impression on your mind. So film reviews normally we see in informal way we talk. So when you are making a film review, you should have a thorough understanding about it. So we need to know how to analyze a book or a story. That means there are certain characters, certain things that we need to take care while you are reviewing. So films can take two forms, that is films reviews and film analysis. So film analysis is a very complex thing, and normally we are not going to do, and we just go for film reviews, because film reviews are what we call journalistic reviews. That means we get most of the film reviews in our own papers, newspapers. So journalistic means it is in the form of a journalism. So film reviews are journalistic reviews. Normally they are. What is about a good film review? A good film review should inform, it should describe, it should analyze, and it should evaluate and also advise us. So, as we have come across in the previous slide, that see information, see understanding, analysis, and evaluation should also be there. So, a good film review should inform, it should describe, analyze, evaluate, and advise us. That means we whenever you go through a film review, it should inform us what it is all about and what is the content. It should also describe how that the content was dealt in a right way, and it should also give us some analysis that how the characters are there, how he has dealt it, what technical see things that he has employed. That way, you should also evaluate the worth of the movie, or the great the things that went into the movie, and also at the end giving your own opinion, you can give your own advices. So that way a good film review should have these things uh, in it. One is it should inform about the story content, and about the people who are involved in it, the characters involved in it. It should describe, and it should also analyze the character. It should also analyze the technical aspects of it, evaluate in the current context or in the background the film was taken, and finally you are concluding that you are advising it. So what you are advising it on it. So that way a good film review should consist of these many things. So if at all you want to prepare a good film review, again I tell you, you need to understand it thoroughly. You need to know certain things about its characters, plot, how they are developed. So what are the technical features of it, what is the background of it. So all these plays a very important role. So you need to understand thoroughly. You need to be very much familiar with all these issues. Then only you can have a good film review. Okay. So normally what a film review consists of is any film based on certain story, based on certain plot, right? So what is the plot? What exactly is the plot? That means what is the theme of that? So what is the plot and what are the subplots? If there is some subplot, what is the subplot of it? And the overall characters. Normally there will be hero, heroine, villains, and all that, but not exactly it should be happen with all the stories, right? It may run between one or two characters, and maybe it may run see the focusing on only one particular character. So there are different kinds of stories. You see, as we all knew, that stories are varied, and see it may see talk about the biographies. It may talk about the see what you call fantasy stories. It may be realistic stories. So the characters will all the time differ from one to the other. So you just can't say that in every film there should be a hero, heroine, and a villain. Need not be. So you have to focus on the main characters. So to whom the entire story is revolving around. So that is the main character. So you have to observe what is the main character in it, and what is the narrative style. So how he is narrating. So plot, subplot, characters, and narration is all about the basics of it. That means the story, the subplot, the characters, and the way it is narrated. So this is all about the preparation of the film. So that means the basis of the film. Then when it comes for a picturization, it should have the direction, how the screenplay was, how was the music, how was the cinematography, how was the choreography, whether editing part, lyrics, playback, set design, costume design, and so on. So a film is say made of several things, isn't it? We have to no, at least have a minimum knowledge about them. So, how was the direction? Who was the director? And what is the screenplay? How was the music, cinematography, choreography, editing part? See, after the entire cinema is made, editing part will be there. Where all it has come good, where all it needs some additions and deletions, that part will be there. That is what we call editing, lyrics. So naturally, to appeal to the say viewers, they imply beautiful songs, music, and all that. So lyrics are important, playback is important, the set design, because in what setting it has to take place. Most of the time people invest lot of money in setting. And the costumes also they use according to the context. They use huge costumes, sometimes very costly costumes also they use. So that way the film budget may go up to 3 crores, 5 crores, even 10 crores also. That means lot of money was put on set designing and costume designing. So lot of technology is also used in say cinemas. And a lot of new type of dances or choreographic and cinematographic issues will also be there. So a cinema is nothing but it's a combination of so many things. So you should have, whenever you are making a say comment, or whenever you are giving an evaluation, you should be very sincere and should have a good knowledge about it. Otherwise, see, making a comment without some facts and figures, having good knowledge about it, definitely is detrimental. So don't do that. If you are having some knowledge, so see, speak on that particular aspect, whatever appeals to you. So in all the reviews, you need not talk about all these things, but talking about some of them is really good. So if you have good knowledge, you can talk all of them. There's no issue. Or else you can have see a review on one particular say way. So whenever you're talking about the technical issues at the cinematography point of view, if you are going to talk, you can talk. So that way also a film review can be made. So naturally, see, so many things are involved in filmmaking. So you should have a good knowledge about all of them. Otherwise, making a review becomes very difficult. And see what is the genre of the film, whether it is a comedy, whether it is a tragedy, whether it is a horror or a melodrama or a fantasy, is a musical dominant movie or a mythological movie, is it a rom-com, and so on. So that way, what is the genre of the film also, you should be very thorough. So whenever you are talking about the comedies, so if you just want to see every message in it, may not be sometimes. So sometimes if you don't like tragedy but you are writing a review on it, is sometimes difficult. So if it is a fantasy, be like a child and give a lot of importance for imagination, but not see question about the reality of it. If you are questioning the reality in fantasy, is bit difficult. So you may not be succeed. So when it is a mythological movie, so whatever is the story that is given, you have to accept the story, but you have to talk, see, if you at all you have a different perspective, and which may definitely has some point to mention, then you have to mention that. Otherwise talk about the other things of the story. So a film review is nothing but it is the information, description, analysis, evaluation, and advices that requires lot of effort, and you need to have very good knowledge about the issues like plot, subplot, characters, narration, and also about the direction, music, cinematography, choreography, costume designing, and all that. And you should also be aware of the genre of the film. So that way, film review is a little complex one, but need not worry, because we are not see as a specialist in film review, but if at all you want to make a review of it, so keep these things in your mind and present them very well. So if you don't have enough knowledge in them, so don't make unnecessary comments in your review. So whatever is appealing, that you have to mention, whatever is really standpoint where you are very strong and have your own real point of view and have a good knowledge about it, there you can make a comment. That way also film review can be done. And what is the writing process? So the writing process is the step number one is we need to understand the genre. So whether it is a comedy or a tragedy, so all these we need to understand first. So what is the context of that, the way of the main the purpose of that movie you have to understand the purpose of a review, not merely a narration. So see why you are making a review, that should be very clear in your mind. Not just for the sake of review you are reviewing, but what is the purpose of it, that you have to understand very well. So and as I told you that the review is not just narrating a story. Narration of a story is not a review. So you are not paraphrasing it, or you are not giving the main points in it. So what is that? Is it not narration of the story but something else? What is that something else? Just now we had a talk about so it's the evaluation, the critical review and all that, isn't it? So that those aspects will be there. So mere narration of the story will never become a review. Most of the time we give the mere narration of a story, so that cannot be considered as a review. That is only an information given on the movie. So the review is to help the reader arrive accurate estimate the film's nature, its quality, and the suitability, the information about it, the inference and interpretation. So what do you infer from them? So what do you see derive? What do you understand by them? What is the see result? What is that is outtake the take out message in it and interpretation? How you are going to interpret it? So a review is to help the reader. So whenever I go through the review, it must help me. It must help me in understanding the nature of the movie, the quality and the suitability, and some information, and what can be understood from the movie, and how was the interpretation. So this information I should get. So keep this in your mind. Then that step number three is understand the structure of a film review. So just now we had a brief structure of a review, of film review. So you need to understand that structure. And step number four is understand the target reader. So you need to understand who to whom you are writing the review. That should be taken care of. Then choose the appropriate style and vocabulary in formal or informal style. So whenever you are say writing the story, you are to writing a review, you should use appropriate style and your vocabulary should be good. Whether it is formal or informal style you want to mention, you can say use it. But your see vocabulary depends on whether you are speaking to the what kind of audience that you are speaking. That way you have to use your vocabulary. So when you are say, just narrating it to the common people, use the vocabulary of the common people. That means use very simple words so that people can understand it very well. So even your structure of the sentence should also be very simple. So that way you can have. So choose the appropriate style and vocabulary in formal or informal style you can use. Then next thing is understand the medium. So uh, where you want to publish your say review, whether it should go in an electronic media or whether it should be a cyberspace or whether you are giving in a print media. So it all depends if you are giving in electronic media or cyberspace and all that, or through the web, so through YouTube and all that. So several things will be you see, we have to take care because you are physically appearing or you are giving an analysis of it, so all other things will also be taken into account. So whenever it is in the print media, most of the time, so when even in your writing you should give that picturesque description of it, so it should be easy to understand. So these things you have to keep in your mind. So these are five steps involved in the writing process. So what is the structure of a film review? So when you look at the structure of a film review, the film review should have a title. So that means basically see title, we have to mention the title. So headline, why headline is important? Because what all you are talking about that movie, the entire see review of the movie should talk about something. So what film that you are reviewing, and even in the heading also, you can see, looking at the heading also people can comprehend so what you want to convey. That way also you can keep a, uh, right good title, and there should be some subhead. That means subheading should also you can use if at all you want. And there should be introduction. So what your introduction should consist of? Your introduction should consist of the most crucial. This is the introduction is the most crucial one, and it sees the tone for the rest of review and makes the reader want to read further. That means in what tone you are preparing the review will help you in see what you call help the readers, so the viewers, so that based on that they can get an estimation of it. So it give again, it conveys the reviewers overall assessment. So you are giving an overall assessment of the film, isn't it? The overview may also include background information and about the film, and also its contents and the criteria used for the evaluation. So in introduction, you are just giving a brief description of all of them. What are you talking about? What is the important say, topics that you are dealing? How see overall assessment is going to take place in your review, and what could be the evaluation process. So this way, in your introduction, is nothing but you are giving the see, gist of the entire review of the film. So how you are going to make that all you can say it in your introduction. So the second thing will come is next thing will come is introduction, sorry, analysis. So how you are going to make in the analysis, as we have come across just now reviewed. So mostly it is about the characters. How are the characters, and what are how character development was there, and how these characters are going to play an important role, how they played. So how the character say development was there. So the choosing of the characters are also. So whatever you want to talk about the characters, that you can talk in the see in this analysis. And also the dialogue delivery, lyrics, technical part, the sceneries or the locations that they have used, and also the cinematography. So just now we had a talk about them, the cinematography and the playback, direction. So all that you can have a critical analysis. Again, I told you that see critical, whenever you are giving a critical analysis, you must be see thorough with that. So when unless and until you have a good knowledge about it, don't venture to do that. So have a otherwise you can have a brief analysis of them. If at all you want to give your own standpoint of view, you must be very careful. So otherwise, whatever how the theme is developed, how the characters are evolved, what is the cinematography that was so appealing, choreography that is appealing, the film songs and all that, whatever is appealing to you, that you can mention, isn't it? So the whenever you are giving a review, it is not just only the positive. You can also talk about the see other things also. That is the negative part of it also. But whenever you are making a negative part, be specific, and at the same time, so evaluate. So you should say substantiate your point of view with the facts and figures, and also with the substantial evidence that you have to take it from the film. So review is not just a positive, only looking at that. So don't think it's something positive or negative. So what you are critically evaluating. In evaluation, whatever comes is right. So that way, but whatever comes not from your see biased nature. So you should be clear. So that way you have to make an analysis. Even the dialogues, melodious songs also you can mention. Mostly we talk about the character, we talk about the plot, how the theme developed, and we talk about the songs and the choreography. We talk about these the effects and all that. So these are all important things. And if you are addressing to the common people, and it is if it is a review, if you are reviewing them, so you can mention these things. So analysis part is very very important. One must be very very see clear about it. And see there should be conclusion. So at the end you need to conclude. How do you conclude? The conclusion must be in two parts. One is the summary of a reviewer's assessment and their advisory. So in conclusion, what you are doing, you are talking about see the introductory part, how you went through that review, and analysis, what is the ultimate result of the analysis, that also you have to mention in conclusion, right? So this way a film review can be made. So whenever see if you take for example, if you are taking any movie, so what should be done? So you should give a title, you should see also mention the subheadings, the introduction, and also the analysis, then later the conclusion. So as a paucity of the time, I'm not taking the example because we need to go for another that is book review. So, what is a book review? A book review is a balanced assessment of a book or a brief description of a book's key points and strength and weakness. Again, we have just come across the film review. So, similarly, book review is not so difficult. It is similar to that. So, a book review is balanced assessment. Again, the word is carefully used. Balanced assessment means you are not biased. You just can't reject the book, or you just can't elevate the book. So you should have a balanced assessment of the book. Brief description of a book's key points, strength and weakness. That means in review we are talking about what are the key points said in the book and what are its strength, and you have see a facility of talking about its weakness also. But whenever you are analyzing, there should be a reasoned argument. That means your argument should have a reason and also should have a basis. So again, so when you are talking about the film, you have so many things, because the technical part you need to talk about, the cinematography, the plot, the settings, everything you need to talk about. So that's a big issue. But coming to book review, your information is say limited. That means the other parts, the technical parts, you need not have. How the book is see how the theme is developed, that is only matter of concern for us. So it's a balanced assessment. Keep in your mind that book review is nothing but the balanced assessment, and also talking about the strength and weakness. So you can also respond when you are analyzing. So if you are giving the opinion, so whatever good or bad opinion that you are giving, but you should have substantiated with a clear reason. So what is basically book review, the basic say information you have to give in the beginning. So what is the basic information? The basic information about the book, the author, the title, and the publisher. That means what is the book that you are reviewing? You have to mention the book's name, and who is the author, and what is the title, what is the exactly title of it, and the title of the author and title of the book, and the publisher, who is the publisher and which year it was published and all that. So in the very opening you have to talk about the book information. That means you are talking about the exact book, the title of the book, the title of the author, and also the publisher's details and all that, in which year it was published, and all these information you have to mention, because this is what you call the title. That means what you are reviewing is important. So what you are reviewing, this particular book written by this particular author, published by so and so, published in the year so and so. So I am talking about this book. So that way the book's primary information should be mentioned in the opening itself, because you are talking on that. So a preview of the book. The next comes the preview of a book. That means what is it about, what is it like, and how does it work. So three things that you have to talk. So what is it about? That means what the book talks about, what is the content of it, what is it like, so how it is like, and how does it work. So what way this book is going to serve the purpose for which it was written. So these three things we need to talk. What is it about, what is it like, and how does it work. So what is it about, what is the book all about, and what is it like. So what is exactly the information is given in the book, and how it has its own effect on uh, us. So that how does it work. So this way, a preview of the book can be written. Then the reviewer's response. That means whether or not the reviewer enjoyed it, for what reason. So suppose if you are the reviewer, that means you have already read the book. You are giving a review. So you have to give your own response. That what is your response after reading the book? What is your response? Whether you really enjoyed it, if at all you have enjoyed or not, that you have to mention. If you have enjoyed it, what is the reason for that also. Just simply saying it is super excellent and all that, no. Where you it is excellent, where it is super and all that, you have to mention. If you don't like also, you have to give a review that at that particular point, at here and at there, at this particular situation, the say presentation is not good, or else this point of view is really contrary to so and so. That way you can mention. But you, what is there, you are providing basic information, you are see giving a preview of the book, then you are giving your own response as a reviewer. Then reviewers advise also whether the book is worth the time, if worth the time, effort and money the reader is likely to spend on it. Then ultimately at the end we will talk about is it worth spending that much of time in reading the book, or that what is the effort needed, what is the effort of the writer, and what is the effort that we need to put in, and what is the money that we need to incur on say buying the book and all that. So these readers advice will at the end will be of great benefit. So as a reviewer, you are see reading the book thoroughly, you are giving the basic information, you are see giving a preview of the book, then a reviewer's response you are giving, uh, reviewer's response you are giving, and then at the end you are giving your own advice for the readers. So these things are there. This is about book review. But when you go through stepwise, what is there? In the step one, what you are doing is what is the title of the book? What meaning does it convey to you? So as I told you that in the beginning, we have to give what is the title, who is the author, what are the publication say details that you need to mention. So what is the title of the book? What meaning does it convey to you? So whenever so you are giving a review, looking at the title, title is usually catchy, and it should also give the entire say gist of the that particular book. So what is it all about? What meaning does it convey to you? Who is the author and what else has he or she has written. So what are other writings of the author, and what does the author usually write about? So whether he talks about politics, whether he talks about economics, whether he talks about the history or the human, say the journalistic experiences, so all that, what does the author usually write about? So most of his writings talk about what, whether it is politics, religion, social issues, etc. Then what is the structure of the book? So, well, usually books are written in chapters, isn't it? So, what is the structure of the book? Is it divided into chapters, or do chapters have titles? Whether there are chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 were mentioned, but do the chapters have a title of them? Because the giving a title for the chapter really helps the readers to understand it better. And so, because the title itself gives you the idea, so in this particular chapter what I'm going to talk about. So that way some books are having the chapters with their names and some are not. So whether it is divided into chapters or do chapters have titles. What is the physical quality of the book? So how the physical quality, whether the appearance, size, print quality and all that, how they are. So this is about your introduction. The second part is you are talking about the theme of this book. That is, theme is whether it is abstract idea that a book explores. Is it an abstract or is it very clear? So if it is an abstract idea, so little complex, you need to understand that. If the subject content is very clear, so the theme is very clear, because you need not explore. The subject is the concrete manifestation of the abstract idea. That means with the concrete manifestation of an abstract idea. The idea is something complex, so you have to manifest it. How it is manifested in the in the book, that you have to talk about. The main theme of or chief argument of the book. You have to talk about the main theme of that book. Then substantiation of the argument with proof or evidence. Whenever you are saying yes or no, you have to see your argument should be substantiated with a proof and evidence. The language and style of the author, you have to mention in what language, how the language is, whether it is simple, and see what all language characters are there and how the style is, you have to talk. And the tone and the mood of the book, whether it is humorous, whether it is genial, whether it is informal or formal, that all you have to mention. Any specific feature of the book, if there are any illustrations, references to other books, you can see specific features. You can talk with reference to other books also, the other sources of information. So you can compare this information given in the book with the information in others. So you can have a comparison, say whether this is outstanding, whether it is good or bad. That way, whether it is contrary, you can speak about that. Step number 3 is begin with a short summary. All the time begin with a short summary and try and contextualize, and introduce the main plot or chief argument of the book, plot progression, how the argument is developed. So you take what is the main plot of the book and what is the argumentation, the chief argumentation in the book, how what is the plot, how the plot is progressed, how the argument is developed in the book, and at the end you have to give a critical evaluation with the key elements of the subject, on the key elements of the subject. Then step number 4 is read and review. Once you have given the review, written the review, you have to reread and review again, because revising and finalizing the review, you have to make it, because you are going to make some errors, isn't it? So you recheck it. You should check your spelling, check the punctuation that you have used and the grammar part, and again have a look at factual information about the book, whether publisher year of publication was mentioned rightly, or is there any error. Accuracy of your argument based on solid evidence, whether you have provided solid evidence for your argument, on the assumptions and opinions and impressions that are presented here are accurate or not. You have to check. Sometimes we make a see, in a hurry we give our own impressions and our own opinions, whether how much it is valid, because your opinion is going to influence the readers, isn't it? So we must be very careful in giving your opinions and impressions. And also check your language style and tone, whether it is appropriate to the audience that you are giving, that you have to see, and whether you have mentioned the entire balance in a review. That is also very important. So with these things you can go ahead. So again, structure of a book is about a heading, the opening statement, you are discussing in between, then the final assessment, your own opinions with the see solid reasons, the examples that you have taken from the textbook. That way your assessment should go on, and finally conclude. So a book review or a film review is a very as a critical exercise. You need to possess certain qualities and you need to do it very sincerely. And after say, preparing a review, just review again, check for all the details, and before it is going to be published, so that it will have a lasting impact. Where if you are giving a right review, is going to help the book or the film. If you are going to give say substandard review, then definitely it has also its own effect, is going to affect. So whatever that we are doing, we must do it in a sincere way, not just passing the information or not just narrating about it. Okay, wish you all the best.